And we're back. It's time for the second matchup here of CounterLogic Gaming and Renegades. We're going into train. It should be a doozy. And there's a lot on the line here for CounterLogic Gaming as we do move forward into this match right now. Vendetta, what are we looking at here? I mean, for CLG, it's the potential to get into top 6, breaking out of that 11-win club, kind of solidifying themselves as an independent playoff contender in many ways, because right behind them there's a buttload of other teams fighting for that last spot. So yeah, no, it's a ton on the line, and it's not going to be an easy task either because they're playing on train, and that's a very good map for Renegades. Well, right now Renegades, though, with the 2 new roster additions, or I guess I should say the roster change-ups. Yeah, because at this point, who knows what's going on in NA with rosters, but. How much of a setback is that going to be for this Renegades lineup? Honestly, very curious to see how it's going to pan out, because one of the differences they have now compared to what they did during basically their surge of games, which quite a few of them were on train, is the fact that now they actually have an opera that they could go to in Nifty. They didn't have that luxury when they were playing with Uber, but still they were able to find ways to win on a map that normally would see quite a bit of ops. Whether or not they're going to feel confident about how they approach things without the op in hand or not, that remains to be seen. But I think Renegades still should have a pretty good idea of what they're doing, or how they want to approach this, even if they have 2 new members. Absolutely. Let's take a look at some Stromberg strategies with the Renegades over on Train. Whoops.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm okay. Just enjoying the nice sunny weather here in the studio. We're going to take a look at Stromberg strategies. We're going to take a look at JKS, a gander at him on how a lot of speculation. You're playing SK on train. This is a very scary map to play SK on, but you know what? JKS, he's playing very smart. He's playing very slow and patient. He's let the kills come to him. You see right here, he's a man that changes up his spots a lot. He'll take a shot. He'll let the opponent know he's there, and then he mixes up. He falls back. He's always changing up positions. So if you want to learn new positions and new ways to attack angles, watch this guy. He's very talented, very powerful. As he picks off helps right off the bat, just holding up. He could rifle in up too, guys. So it's he is a complete package. And now he takes a shot Z. He repositions himself behind the bomb train. Okay, taking the long range. He has advantage with an up. Gets smoked off. His teammate dies Ivy. Gonna try to get information. Okay, nothing there. Let's reposition again, guys. I'm gonna go behind old bomb train. He alerts his teammates. He's waiting for his teammates. He's not trying to make too many big moves as he picks off Fallen. And now it's a 2-on-2 situation. And at this point, it's smart of him not to keep repositioning himself, because again, too much is never a good thing. So he's gonna wait it out. Play the bomb, because in 2-on-2 situation, as a CT, they have to plant the bomb if they don't come after you. And so once they plant the bomb, at least one person is in the bomb site, and having the information on one person is a huge factor. As you see, he's going to just hang around this area, still being patient, still not making noise. He hasn't unscoped, so they don't hear it. He gets fur in the back, and Cold Zero knows where he is. He's being a little impatient here. Try to get the kill, doesn't work out. JKS just showing why Renegades is still even relevant in a way where him and Ustillo, I can't knock everyone else. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are there. Hopefully you do well. They're almost above the mid pack, but we'll see how it goes in the rest of the season. Back to you guys.
An absolute weird one to kind of review, obviously, because there's 2 different players, 2 different players completely in the fold. But going into train, give me a quick prediction. Honestly, I'm gonna side with Renegades. I think they had the base of I guess their most important players from their good streak of games on train still remains, and I think Nifty is also going to be a nice addition to that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Australians, or well, used to be Australians at least. Well, in honor of Eric de Bear Stromberg Day, that is April 20th. I'm going to bring in the commentators, the Blaze combo. What are we guys thinking? What are we feeling on train here, given all the circumstances?
Go ahead, Blue.
Oh, all right.
I want to hear this analysis.
No. I still think, I mean, Sam said it as well, but I still think CLG has the better package overall here when it comes to players, and we saw it kind of in the gun rounds there.
No, I think Renegades has better individual players.
Okay.
Thrown right under the bus.
Just
Wow.
There, I'll just shut up now.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You guys can just take it from here and deal with your inner turmoil. We'll just get out of the equation.
All right, yeah. Thank you very much. And it is going to be train for our second map here now. So predictions from you. Is this one where you see the Renegades bounce back to trading, or?
I thought Renegades would split this series, and I mean, I think regardless, it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah,
but,
as we saw in the last one.
Yeah, but Nifty, just his op presence was pretty non-existent. Let's be real, he didn't do too much, and Kusta and Ricky were like pretty dominant, right? And I mean, Train could be a very op-heavy map, could really be the difference maker. So even though I did earlier pick Renegades, I mean, if Nifty's not going to make an impact like that, and he's not going to stop Kusta and Ricky from really being aggressive and picking off his riflers and whatnot, I'm going to go CLG.
All right. Well, it is looking like the players are ready, folks. So let's jump into the map now and take a look at who indeed is going to hold themselves to the better standard here to push themselves, hopefully for CLG, into a 2-0, and for the Renegades wanting to split these maps here to keep it competitive with their end of season rating here. But getting into the first round now, CLG are going to send most of their players just directly up into the white halls here, and now splitting them after that. We'll probably see them more than likely actually.
Well, it's a retake strat for Renegades at B. So if they do take B, they should at least get the bomb down. FNS is going to have the post-plant molly. Nexa is going to have the post-plant smoke for the bomb. So this is a very standard round. Each team should know what to do in these situations.
They do move in. Unfortunately, Nexus not able to get much done from this far back spot over here. Just hoping he can pick up a couple heads as they are continuing to push forward to take more control here. But for the most part, CLG continue forward uninhibited until up until this point. When Azur picks up that first kill, he'll go for more though, and getting greedy. Ethan trades it back out. Nexus still got one more to offer, and in fact, now it's favor for the Renegades. They need to take a seat back here for a second. FNS still has that molly. They can delay here, and they are continuing to frag back out, but Cutler runs into his own death at the very end of it, and now it's left to FNS to try and get a good timing on this Molotov toss. He'll go for it here, but they've got a smoke to counter it back, and they can hop onto the bomb. FNS is going to have to roll back in and stop the defuse. I don't even know if he realized it, however, and he's not going to be able to get that damage done. He even goes down at the end of the round, and Renegades close out on the pistol.
Yeah, and CLG getting very aggressive around, you know, off that Z-smoke, but the Z-smoke was like really late. They go down first and then they deploy it, but they're not able to kill these players just in the back lanes or anything like that. So Renegades could just slowly, you know, pick them off, kill these players that are around the sidewalk. There's like 3 players for CLG just pushed up aggro on that sidewalk, and, you know, it's just a frag or die situation, right?
Yeah. Well, now CLG having to go for just upgraded pistols here since they did get the plant. Not adding a smoke or anything into just what would normally be like an all-in push to try and get the second plant. But yeah, for the most part, Renegades will continue to get aggressive. They'll stop any chance of that plant from happening by just completely shutting down their entire push. And they would almost entirely clean. They only lose Azur along the way. Besides that, there's basically nothing done by CLG in that round at all.
Yeah, and they don't give them room to work with. They don't let them just sit back and relax and try to deke them from long range or anything like that. They get a guy into ladder. They get a nice, really nice push onto Ivy. You're not really expecting that on those anti-ecos at all. Or excuse me, on your ecos. So now they do get the AKs though, but they didn't damage their economy very much. So we're going to see, it looks like just a default here. 3 towards White Halls, 1 watching team mid, and 1 watching Ivy push. Oh, I think it's 4 towards White Walls actually.
As everybody from CLG in those White House positions are going to be lining up back in the box halls now to probably, at the very least, try to toss in a few flashbangs into the site. Not sure if we're going to see them follow through with it just yet, but it would be very unlikely of them to actually go back and try to do like a 4-man play inside of the ladder room, so more than likely will indeed find itself to be a B hit. Even have Ricky falling back from Ivy now to probably regroup with these players. 1:15 left, so they can sort of wait a few extra seconds for him to get into a better spot. They are going to have to be cautious, though, as not only is it Nexa here anymore, but on the other side of the spindle, JKS is holding, and as they go down the ladder side, he'll pick one up there. He has pinched himself, but the player up on top, Kusta, he's not doing anything about JKS at all. He's able to just swing back in, pick up an additional kill. When Kusta finally does peek, Nexa's still alive, and he's going to be a problem for this player. So now Ricky, who was supposed to flank out through the ladder room and kill additional players in Z, is now left alone in a 1v4, and this is essentially impossible. So Renegades should be following through with an easy third round.
Yeah, they do the double interplay. Rotator comes, he's back bomb, gets the first player upper, and then just hides JKS in a nice spot in front of Spindle. Just turns around, gets a freebie, gets that AK, gets the second kill. So another nice hold from JKS. And I'm telling you, man, JKS is a beast.
Yes, he is. He's going to be able to secure Renegades. Their first real gun round here. Ricky really hunting for that head on next. It took him a moment, but he does get the kill. However, now they know he's re-executed out, and then peeking needs to kind of go down before the timer goes away, and Azur will be the one to oblige upon that. He gets the final kill, and the Renegades secure their third round, putting CLG onto what is for the most part going to be just an upgraded pistol round.
So Deagles again for CLG, 3 of them this time with a couple P250s. No, 2 of them, sorry. We'll see if they Renegades still gets aggro, doesn't give them any space to work with. They do have the ump on Nifty.
And besides the early push into like T-Con and whatnot, CLG are just really not going to be able to get a whole lot done in these first couple seconds. Even better for Renegades is that Ustilo pushes right back up, finds that big stack of players. Pretty sure he should have been able to spot the bomb in this play too, so they know that that's going to end up getting tossed back a little bit further, so they can try to get it out of this kind of hot spot that Ustilo is looking to hold. Sees them crossing, knows they're going to retreat out of here, and can change up his position accordingly. And even so, still able to challenge players like Ethan as they're trying to fall back, just not giving CLG any room to breathe at all on these eco rounds. Nifty with a nice pickup. Trying to line up an additional one here against Kusta. Also has an ump to play with and decides to go with that, but now Kusta's got a Deagle in hand. He's going to be able to pick one up. So will Ricky with his P250. Ustilo, however, trades onto Ricky and leaves just Kusta as the last man standing here with a 1v3. And again, the Renegades remaining strong, aggressive, but it works out for them as CLG don't even have time to think, let alone execute a strategy on these eco rounds, and for the most part just get completely destroyed.
Yeah, and I think against eco rounds like that, especially on train, I think the best thing to do is actually make sure everybody has an HE grenade. You don't necessarily use it at the start of the round, but so when you deagle T-mid, what do? You literally just sit there and you jiggle peek for like 8 hours. Like, that's all you do. You just sit there and jiggle peek and hope somebody goes into your crosshair. But you're just in a completely nadeable spot that entire time. So, you know, and you could apply that same thing on a lot of different maps. Kusta goes for a pick. So if you're going up against deagles on cache, you could have your highway player and your mid player both have HE grenades, and most likely the deaglers, you know, there's going to be somebody boosted, right, with a deagle. And it's just like, you nade them for like 80 damage, you know?
Well, it's going to be a two-man play from the Renegades this time inside of ladder room here. Azur being the point man to watch out for the ladder itself, and Ustilo, I believe, holding just outside there. And, well, they know where Cutler's at. He's been spraying into that position for far too long now. Azur, Azur just getting kills left and right here, it seems, or just getting damage off at the very least. Only 1 kill so far, but he pretty much killed Cutler as well, bringing him down to 22 HP. Did lose Ustilo, so he's got to be a little bit careful about that. But thankfully, Nifty's still outside. He sees this barrel, so can just play nice and patiently against Kusta here to try and find him out. And there you go. As soon as Kusta tries to fall back, Nifty gets the flick, taking him back out. And advantage restored to the Renegades as they continue to hold strong on outside. Now Cutler's going to try to drop back down, but okay, just doesn't even try to go fast at it.
Great job, Cutler.
Just slowly crawls down and into his own death.
How to not challenge ladder room 101 this round.
Nifty's going to get Ricky, and now it's just FNS in a 1v4. Sneaks in, should be able to get the nice little casual one-tap there, but it's in attempting to go for the second kill. Nexa is going to put him back down to the ground, and Renegades continue to hold strong here. 5-0, and I believe a very much needed pause is going to be coming in from CLG, as there seems to be a pretty large disconnect as to their T side so far.
They had Renegades just winning that third round when, you know, COG has those AK buys. Winning, and in that round, COG just looked like lost. I mean, that was just not a well played. Actually, all the rounds so far haven't really been well played, like positionally speaking, or what they're challenging and how they're even trying to win the rounds. Couple brute forces towards inner. That round just more like a default, but challenging ladder like that is just doesn't work, man. You can't challenge that player like that.
With 2 different players as well. It wasn't just one guy doing it.
It's not a T-sided peek at all. Yeah. Like, the CT is going to own you every time.
Cutler does it first, and then the second guy goes in, gets fully killed. Yeah, Ethan goes in, gets fully killed, and then Cutler tries to creep back down. Like 20 seconds later, completely knocked out. So right from the bat, they're working on a 5v3, and then no one else just hits the ground running at all. So pretty quick elimination that time for the Renegades. A few trades here and there, but it matters very little at this point in time. CLG do go on to a half-buy round. Tech 9 armor for the majority of their players. Kusta goes down to a P250 to save up for the op in the next gun round here. And with these half-buys, they're really not going to have much utility going up behind either. It looks like they're going to try to do a little mini run boost over here to try and get a player across safely. There's no op sitting at Ivy currently, so it's not going to be too big of a risk to do that. And the op that is positioned here is a little bit further off the marker with the smoke coming back in. Justillo is going to feel the need to play a bit aggressively at the edge of the smoke, as they're also catching the first kill, but Justillo, the potential to multi-frag, very much alive right now. Goes in, gets that kill, swings back, finds the headshot. He knows the third up top, but no, Ricky is going to be able to get the better of it. They still have Nifty with the op waiting on the outside, however, so he still has to get past that obstacle. Is instead taking a different path and hoping for on Kusta to be able to make a bit more of an impact from outside of T-Con here. Has it lined up, takes down Azur, so there's one to chuck away with, but a lot more work to be done, and specifically Ricky has to start it back off here, as Kusta can't do much else with that P250. Nifty already knew where Ricky was playing from, so it's an easy closeout for him, and another 6th round goes up on the board for the Renegades.
Yeah, I really like that play from Justillo. You see he knows the flash is coming, so he goes inside the smoke, they go through the smoke, and then he's almost like a third T. Gets those 2 kills, had a chance to get the third as well, but, you know, obviously ends up dying to him.
He's got the better of it.
Yeah, but still, I like that play a lot.
Well, back into yet another gun round here for CLG, where for the most part they've fallen flat, trying to bring this even to a few close situations, but for the most part, Renegades have been winning these out with 2 to 4 alive on every single round so far. And we can see Nifty still in a constant position. Now alone, however, I should note more importantly, they did throw an extra player into B early on as this gets traded 1-to-1. Nifty not only has to kind of watch out here and support his teammate back over there at the T-Con, but also watch for Ivy pressure too. CLG, though, for the most part, just making noise over in that direction. And since Justillo was allowed to sort of freely push himself forward inside of T-Con, he gets a really aggressive smoke going into. While it looked like CLG wanted to transfer a few players inside, they can't do that anymore, and it's looking like they're going to send everyone through the White Halls to probably try executing down towards inner.
Another reason I like that play, Blue, is that now they have to worry about that every time they work Ivy, you know, that he could be in front of the smoke, that he's, you know, willing to make those plays. And they always have to have somebody like checking that, and that a lot of the time just like disconnects their take as well. But anyways, we're going to see a 4v4 take at inner. JKS, the only one there with a molly and a flashbang.
Molly's going to go out on a ramp, so restricting the guys from CLG even more so now. But upper pressure is still something they can push out to pretty nicely. JKS, though, in a spot where they're definitely not going to check for Ricky, actually, by circumstance, ends up killing himself. But Kusta hitting a nice shot against JKS through the bomb train. Unfortunately, he does have to work the 1v2, which is going to be pretty difficult to do, especially with the time. He's forced into a plan that's going to let Renegades make a lot of forward momentum getting further into the site. Justillo right up on the left now. Kusta should check that position, but actually no, Justillo's already across that blue train gap, so he's just going to walk right up. He may actually just find him easily, and yeah, Kusta's not even going to know how to react to that situation there. Just immediately knocked out by Justillo, and we do see the Renegades closing out again pretty confidently, not even really making the situation close, it seems, as they pick up our 7th round.
That's well played by Nifty and Renegades. Nifty holds the left side, make sure he doesn't go towards oil or anything like that. He's completely stuck. I believe that was Justillo at the end that just kind of, you know, just walks up on him, gets above the train, and it's a pretty easy kill because Kusta has to watch his back as well. So CLG continues to struggle on this T half and struggle like a lot. Most of these rounds aren't even close.
Now Ricky getting himself out a little bit more aggressive this time. Same with Kusta, but they both have their marks actually, you know, a sudden increase to the pacing, and it's working out well. However, Nexa trading it back, and well, there goes that. As it's down to a 3v2 now. Bomb on the ground. Ricky, though, still sneaking through the short lane. Is able to finally trade it onto Nexa. Azur back into the fray. Outside of the ladder room, though, taking back the kill on FNS, and now just leaving Ricky alive to try and pull off these 2 more kills. Still being a bit sneaky about it. In fact, they don't suspect him. Azur tries to flick onto it as he spots him in the last moment, but doesn't see it. The problem is, though, as Ricky goes up on top of the ladder and opens himself up to JKS.
Yeah, and even though it was 3v5, one of the reasons Ricky was able to get that op kill is probably because they don't expect him to have an op in that situation. You know, after just losing the round, you might not expect that to happen. But 3v5, that player at E-Box, you know, holds really well. JKS closes out the round off that rotate. Now they have the double op set up. JKS and Nifty both opping. We just see Tech9 and Armor come out from CLG with no nades.
Yeah, and they still send the pressure over towards Ivy, but for the most part, this is a pretty light pressure. He's still low. He's going to be able to spot it, deploy the Molotov. They don't seem to care. They're going through it anyway, but it works out because they're also pinching short lane at the same time, taking him down, you know, as a responding to one kill, but then going back out. JKS just trying to look everywhere, it seems, and now next having to get back in. At the very least, if CLG doesn't end up winning this round, they've made it completely messy and are going to bring the money down into a much more manageable position after that. However, Nexa does catch one of the mistakes from CLG there. They're still not paying full attention to the Ivy lane, and that's going to let Nexa move back in, taking down FNS basically for free. Ricky's now set against a 1v2, and then trying to go out. Nexa may actually... No, Nexa is not going to be spotting this as he's gone back outside of Ivy to regroup with Nifty. Ricky will be given the opportunity. If he's smart about this, he may actually decide to go towards inner instead and escape these two players from the CT side, as they are both currently coming back in through T-Con at this point. So that's exactly what it appears as though Ricky's going to do. Just sneaking through CT very quietly, and will then go for the plan on the other site.
Yeah, I have no idea what Renegades is doing. I feel like they're like overthinking this round
Nexa,
so much.
I think if Nexa stayed in the Ivy lane, he would have just killed Ricky by this point. He might have had to peek out a bit more, but he might have just had him dead to rights. So now the problem is Ricky's going to have all the time in the world to just set up in here, get himself into a really good post plant.
Yeah, they do have a lot of nades though. Like if Nexa can get a smoke on the plant, we'll see. I mean, Ricky doesn't really even plant for himself. Usually in this situation, you put it on the side of the train. I guess his plan is that he's going to walk up from oil and then just look to the right. So this could definitely work.
Yeah, especially if he gets this into two. Especially if they both end up going down ramp here and they just put it into two isolated 1v1.
Just somehow knows they're double flanking.
So, pretty well read. There's the first kill. That's the easy one. It's getting the second one that was going to be rough, though, and he overpeaks just a tad too early.
Well, once you're stuck in that oil lane, it's like, how do you get out of there? The guy could just push you. You kind of just are forced to fight, right? So a bit of an odd way to play that round. Almost played out to his favor. He almost had it. CLG does get the bomb down. They get a lot of kills. They're kind of hurting their economy a decent amount. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it is 9-0.
Yeah, and it's going to be another pause, more than likely from CLG's players, as they can't continue to have trouble just finding that one play that can really seal the deal here, and at the very least, get them up onto the board. So Renegades continuing to buy into it. It is going to be another full investment, more than likely, I think, from CLG, maybe sacrificing a couple AKs here or there, bringing them down to UMPs, but they already have 3, now 4 AKs purchased up, and I think the last player can also afford one too. So they are going to go back into it with the full buy here and see if they can make it work again. But nothing really special being deployed here by CLG either. A very one-dimensional T-side in a lot of respects here. And it makes it easy in a lot of ways for the Renegades to punish that and continue to hold advantages, even when it comes down to these closer situations, like 2v1s or 1v2 spots for the most part. It's not really high pressure 2v1s for the Renegades. It does, you know, most of the trades ended up coming in, you know, a couple 1v1 clutches. It's like these are expected results. Be upsets if the CLG players are able to pick them up, so Renegades still able to really control the situation even when it does get slightly out of hand.
Now CLG looks like they're going to opt back for inner. And JKS has been a beast, so it's going to be a tough task.
There's also 2 players close to Z already, so those can be really fast rotations. The one benefit that CLG may have is that there isn't full attention towards upper. That's changed now, though, as Nifty's rotated back in, as he's going to hold this position. This is the first shot, though, so actually they're going to flood back in. 2 for 1 start. Nifty does get traded, and Kusta finds a second kill from up there. You think he's spotted as they're moving out, so he's going to expect him to cross. However, won't catch him as he's pushing the short lane, looks back to Z, but at the moment can't find him. The rest of his teammates, one is going to be deployed on a flank. That's FNS sneaking over towards Z to catch out the CT defender. And the second over to his left now, Cutler watching for the short lane pressure. FNS, though, is already inside of Z, getting ready to strike. This could be massive. However, that first kill already dropped to 8 HP, so he's going to hold outside instead. Smokes, Molotovs go in the way, but Azar, great position, is able to move up, and the shot rolls out from the other side, misses. Nexa able to finish off FNS, but Cutler trades again, and now the bomb's down. We're into a 1v1 here. Nexa just goes for it again, though, and finds another player from CLG in the open, where he can finish off the round and continue this streak for the Renegades as they push into double digits. Still not a single round for CLG on the board.
It's so close, though, all these rounds. CLG losing to, you know, Renegades winning, rather, with 1 alive. is really hurting their economy. I mean, this isn't out of the realm of possibility that CLG wins this round and maybe ends up winning 3 or 4 in a row. And, you know, ending up in a half that they could, you know, still win the game from. But they need to win, like, either this round or keep it close and then win the next round. And try to make it 10-5 or 11-4. I think 12-3 might be too much to overcome.
Well, Ricky moving up. Nice flashbang. Actually, I think that was a T flash, excuse me. So not a nice flash.
No, it was a CT flash.
Okay.
I believe.
It just didn't. I didn't know who threw it. What's the question?
His teammate. I think they were going to push and then it still hurt him really fast. So he just got in that position.
Well, he's still again waiting behind the server and playing aggressively here. While Nifty also holds the opposition. He's probably going to be forced to move into the smoke at this point. So he'll be a non-factor, but you still got to watch for Yustillo on the other side. Ricky, and he still has been playing around here a lot, and the fact that they don't see him right from the get-go may raise some suspicions to check for this. Ricky moves in, though, and doesn't check for it at all. Nice swing from Yustillo. The spray is just a little bit messy, so FNS is able to trade on that, but still loses 75, basically, of his HP anyway. Now Cutler going to creep up. They have the smokes obscuring the bomb train, and Cutler can walk right in, delete the player up in heaven, but not before he gets a trade onto Ethan there. Brings us into another even 3v3. FNS tries to flank, and Cutler continues to wreak havoc from this bomb train. Gets himself his own second. Another 1v1 that will be placed into after the bomb goes down. But Kusta, they know where he's at. And again, another player caught peeking.
3 1v1s is what the last 3 rounds have come down to. And if CLG would have won, I think any of these, I think Renegades would have been forced to either a save or a very, you know, pretty poor 4-spot round. But instead, Renegades just winning every close round. Next are really showing up. 17-5 right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually not the one that's showing up at the end of the round, but he's basically...
No, the last, well, actually that round was Nifty at the end, but the last round too.
Yeah.
He was the one on top of the train, right?
I think so. It's usually, he's doing the job of like what Kusta was doing in the last map, where he's almost consistently getting like 2 or 3 kills, and if he does get traded out, it's like, okay, he's done his job, so... As his kill total continues to rack up, and he's on the brink of dropping a 20 bomb in the first half. In they go towards drop, and this time it's Azur to hold it while he only gets 1 kill, spots the other 2 before he ends up going down. So this is going to cause probably a halt in CLG for the time being, so as not to make this too obvious about what exactly they're going to be doing. However, that drop there, that play over here inside of the ladder room has spurred on more aggression from Nifty. He's going to peek back out, catches Cutler retreating. That's the bomb as well gone down. Now they've got to send more up to recover it. It's going to be Ethan this time, but it slows them down even more so, and is definitely going to mess up with the overall strat here, as they can no longer safely go back inside of ladder. They just end up retrieving the bomb, and I think all 3 players are going to push towards the back halls, where now you just have Nifty winning with the op this time. He's pushed himself all the way back here. The smoke is covering off the lower portion, but he takes down Ricky, pushing into the box halls. He can safely fall back. Just watch for anyone that would retaliate from ramp. Won't be happening so soon, but at this point, they're down to just 2 players left alive on CLG. And it's going to be rough to make impact here as Yustillo creeping up. He's got to be careful dropping down. Yeah, I think he wanted to try and go for something a bit more fun there, but couldn't do it from that position. 2-for-1 trade at the end. It's the Renegades once more that come out on top. Almost a team ace there. Everybody except for JKS getting a piece of it as they push on 12-0 now.
And this is what you want to see a little bit more of from Nifty, like playing aggressively like this, making it easier on his teammates, not being so passive all the time. And now all of a sudden, like, because of that, they're able to win a round, you know, very clean. And CLG looking rough on train right now. Just cannot close out any of these really important rounds, any of these 1v1s.
Yeah, CLG back into another, for the most part, will turn itself into just another outside play with 4 possibly pushing towards Ivy. That's going to be maybe a little bit too much. The good news is they don't have that 2-stack again over towards Ivy. It's just Yustillo defending it, and not with the off either. Nifty.
Yeah, but Nifty's
close.
You know, he's in a place where he could easily turn around and help him out.
And Yustillo taking a lot of damage early on here without really trading it back, but they've got a lot more utility to hold off CLG. Molotovs, smokes. They could easily delay this down to below the 1 minute mark if they wanted to. But Yustillo.
It's going to work. It's a good play by him.
He's done this before, though, so they're going to read it.
Yeah, Nifty should have helped, though. I don't know why he's just...
Molly also comes in late, misses the flick, so this is going to let them move in. Thankfully, it's only one player. The rest had been held back by the Molotov here, and they now have to try to push past it themselves with their own smoke. Even in deploying that smoke, they're not going to be able to catch the trade. Although I believe it was Nexa that grabbed the kill before. He's back on the other side, spraying into it. Cutler reads into that himself, however, and trades it back out. CLG escaping for the first time in a while, actually having a man advantage to play off of, and Kusta now trying to sneak in from T-Con. No one's really paying attention to that, so he can actually waltz right up, find a free kill onto Nifty. He'll escape with one. Kusta trades it back out. Now, huge advantage to CLG as they've taken full outside control, but at the same time, Renegades are in position to move in for a very fast retake, so they are going to have to be cautious of that. Azur will have to wait out his smoke, but JKS can already start to move in on the old bomb train there. Let's see if he can get himself back into the A site quickly. At the very least get some intel, but he doesn't seem to want to go for it just yet. Neither is Azur. That smoke should be fading away right now. Now he can start his own retake, but I think they may already be aware of his presence or expecting it from that direction considering the smoke. Kusta, let's be careful of that peek, and Kusta goes for it. I think he spotted Azur. Azur unsure of that, so he looks away, and that's what spells his own doom. Now JKS having to pull off the 1v3 clutch. He'll walk right into his death, though, and finally CLG pick up a round here, 12-1.
Yeah, we'll see if Renegades wants to save right now. I assume they would. They have so many rounds on the board. It's just like, hey, let's just play for last round. If we can get 13, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to close this game out. But this is doable for CLG. I mean, 12-3, although it doesn't look great, if you could win the CT pistol and then just, you know, lose rounds in the right way, where you're making them, you know, expend a lot of bodies and lose a lot of economy on the rounds won, like, you could easily come back from this.
You know, CLG even now just going for some interesting upgrades. Here's Cutler going for the SSG buy pickup there. Or the SG, excuse me. As he's going to be looking to catch out some interesting aggression from the Renegades. Now, 4 of their players pushing into T-Con here to hold this back off. Cutler is ready for it if they go beyond the wall. But I think for the moment, they're just posting up now, though that's going to change as they move in. They actually catch one of them, trading the gun back out, but thankfully all the kills still go by the way of CLG. Moving in, Exa holds off with, oh, nicely found, actually kills both those players back to back. JKS hitting one player down to 34 HP, but now it's just Nexa, and he's escaping with like a Deagle armor and now an SG, so he'll be happy with that.
They really don't even have like the greatest buy next round even, so you should save it. He only has about 16 health. No kit. Almost an impossible round to win.
Yeah, he's definitely running away to save that for the round afterwards.
Yeah, but it might just be like too little too late from CLG. I mean, they had their opportunities. They had a lot of 1v1s, a lot of close rounds where they could have broke the economy of Renegades if they won them, you know, which would lead to rounds like this where it's pretty easy, pretty safe to say that you're going to, you know, get back into this game. But 12-2, if it ends 12-3, a lot of it's going to ride on this pistol round, and it's going to be a long road back.
Yeah.
If CLG wants to end up, you know, winning this game. Nexa already at 21 frags on the CT side.
Well, we do go into round number 15
Serbians,
now.
man. He's Serbian, right?
Yeah, he's Serbian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even, you know, played against him or heard about him really, so
I'm
cool
interested
to see.
I'm interested. Like, I didn't catch up on like if there was any interviews or anything. Well, like, where did they find him?
I have no idea.
Like, how did they figure out that he'd be a good addition?
We'll see if Vendetta knows anything about him. He's writing some Kassad.
Oh,
so
yeah,
their coach.
That is a good point. Yeah. Well, Kusta swinging back in here now. He's going to look for that first kill, and he gets it too. Nifty obliged to peek back into it, but we do see a trade from Ustillo, and he goes for another one as well. As now he's playing back over here by T-Con, able to pick up that second kill against Cutler. Ricky, FNS, and Kusta, the last 3 remaining. Although they got IV control, now they're going to try to swing around and pinch towards inner. JKS reading into this, however, so he goes back out towards CT, takes the battle versus Ricky. Nice shot from Ricky, though. Instantly takes the head off of JKS. That does ensure, or that does make the fact clear, though, that their new plan has been revealed. So they have to kind of cancel that. Go back over here towards Ivy, although that may be a mistake. You keep going to those battles versus Ustillo. That's a dangerous game as he ends up with a 3K before he finally goes down to FNS, and we end up in another 2v2. CLG getting the bomb back outside of Ivy and pushing into the short lane. Flashbang missed, so Nex is able to escape with the kill onto FNS, although very low, so he'll be traded up by Kusta. And now this is back down into another 1v1. Azur playing from inside of the ladder room here still. Kusta definitely expecting it to come from somewhere else at the moment before he goes for this plant, but now he's out behind E-Box, and Kusta did miss the note on Azur crossing to that, so he's going to have an extremely early flank. May just be able to wait for him to plant the bomb and take him out easily there, as he is following him very closely behind. He saw him go into Z. He knows exactly where Kusta's headed, and as long as Kusta doesn't check his flank anytime soon, Azur should be able to have this. This is definitely going to be the commitment to the plant right here. Just waits until he gets up, however, so that he does not get RNG'd by the hitbox or anything like that, and he will indeed close out pretty easily in that 1v1. It'll be 13-2, a dominating first half here for the Renegades, and a much, much different scoreline than we had back on our first map on Cobblestone. Stick with us, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see if CLG have any chance of all of getting back into this match in just a moment.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
And we're back again, ladies and gentlemen. The Renegades taking on CLG, and CLG still trying to push forward to remain within the top 6. Playoff contention is up for grabs for them. Unfortunately, the Renegades ended up with a destructive first half, and they now hold a 13-2 lead, which is going to make it pretty tough for CLG to bounce back into this and try to end up with a 2-0 victory tonight to earn that 6th place spot.
Yeah, and I mean, it just was not a good T-side at all by CLG. I didn't see any refined level of play, refined level of strategy from them. A lot of bad decisions, a lot of just like nothing really clever or anything like that. Just, you know, especially like around ladder room, that was very questionable. Despite that, they still had their opportunities. They still had 1v1s that they could have capitalized on and could have made this half like a 10-5 scoreline. But unfortunately, they failed to deliver on those clutch situations. And now we're going to see 13-2. Everything really rides on this pistol round for CLG.
Yeah, it's a phrase that's said a lot, but it definitely means something when you're at a scoreline like this.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they win the second round follow-up, it would end up being 14-3, and you'd think that's just too difficult to come back from. So this round is huge.
Well, it's looking like Renegades will try early on to push in towards Ivy here, and Ricky getting challenged, but he holds his ground, picks up both kills. Nexa trading out onto one as well against Ricky here, finally taking him down, but Kusta still alive and well with support from FNS at the bomb trade. JKS gets a triple kill, a pile of corpses laid out at his feet, and Cutler.
So good, Blue.
Cutler's going to have to try and pull off this flank. The miracle, though, as he walks back in, gets one, but then Nifty peeks up from the mini cubby and closes out for the Renegades.
I'm telling you, man, JKS is a beast. Like, especially the spots he plays on CT side. Not only does he make plays like this, but on CT side, guys
oh
just,
my god,
the guy's nuts.
That looks even more brutal from his perspective.
Yeah, that was sick.
So a nice play from the Savage Man himself. Well,
that's the coolest name too.
What's his middle name though? Because his initials are his name, or like his alias is his initials.
I have no idea. How would you know anybody's middle name?
I don't know, dude. Just curious. I'm trying to think of what K
What's
middle
your
names
middle
are.
name? I don't even know your first name, but I'm playing.
You don't?
John.
My middle name's Edward.
Edward.
Yeah. Well, Nex is going to get the early kill here, as we somewhat expect, although they did lose Ustillo along the way. So bringing this back down to a 4v4. CLG's only hope of winning out here is to basically take this into a brawl, but it doesn't work out. JKS and Nifty both get eliminated and trying to push into T-Con, and then Cutler and Ethan are the last two standing now. Cutler doesn't survive for very long, and Ethan, patience seems to pay off for him at the very least, and waiting in the open there by the bomb train. Nexus thinks, yeah, it's all clear if I move in here. No! Nice follow-up as well to finish off Nifty. Not going to be the headshot, but still a second kill. Unfortunately, it has to end at some point, and it's going to be at the hands of Azur, where they do close out and get themselves into 15.
So what do you think my middle name is, Blue? Do you know?
I have no clue.
No?
No.
We'll keep it that way.
All right. I'm guessing you don't like it.
No, it's fun. It's Eli.
Oh,
Eli.
okay. Actually, I think I have seen that somewhere before.
Probably the Bible. Or something like that. Seems like a pretty religious name or something.
No, like I've seen your middle name somewhere before. Now that he's told it to me, I feel like I saw it in like a blog or something like that.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means. I'm not
like
very
overly professional news
knowledgeable when it comes to things like that.
No clue what mine means either. Just a third of it. So.
Mom was just a Twilight fan.
Well, as we can see here now, CLG trying to force into it and keep themselves in this match, but ultimately it's going to be tough to do with a buy such as this. Ricky and Ethan both working with Deagles. They've got two scouts, neither of which have armor sitting behind them, and they're already completely out of utility. You know, losing FNS this early on certainly hasn't helped their case. Renegades just taking it nice and slow so they can try to execute the players on CLG one by one without making too many mistakes, although this slow play may actually cost them a little bit. We can see those scouts are kind of picking them off slowly. No actual kills just yet, but a few tags may make it easier for the Deagle players to end up with a few frags in these closer situations. Bomb is now going to be deployed towards inner. Be really careful to check that spindle spot. However, now Nexa goes off once more. Ends up with two additional pickups here. Ethan holding on for one before being traded out by Nex again. And Azur closes out, so it is going to be the Renegades that destroy map number 2 here and take it with a final scoreline of 16-2. And off of that, they'll have quite an easy closeout to take it 1-1 for the night.
Yeah, and Renegades just winning every close round, like we discussed earlier. CLG kind of had their opportunities to make it close, but at the end of the day, Counter-Strike is very fickle when it comes to, you need to win the rounds that are important, you know, and Renegades won every single one of them.
Yeah. I mean, just like we said, we saw so many 2v1 situations or just close clutches that almost every, didn't even really seem to struggle with it. Every single time went the way of Renegades, and it just made it so easy for them to close out. So let's bring the analysts into the conversation now and get their thoughts, of course, on CLG. Unfortunately, dropping 1-1, not going to have that easy path to the top 6, but still a few more games for them to go.
Most definitely. Something about Odin's Ravens. Anyway, the point is, definitely not the same CLG we saw on Cobble.
Definitely not. And again, I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that the result does look worse than what it should have been, or what it could have potentially been, for sure. Because again, they did lose every important swing round, every clutch situation, pretty much anything that could have gone the direction of Renegades did for the better part of that game. And they didn't even need it like a big game for JKS. Everybody else was stepping up. Next, had a magnificent game out in yard by himself, or being that swing guy. Just a lot of things working out really for Renegades, where everything went wrong for CLG.
Well, let's talk about the savagery, which is Mr. Justin Savage. We've got round number 7 loaded up for you guys.
Yeah, so one of the big benefits you get from having a solid inner player is the fact that you can leave them alone, and this is something JKS does really, really well. And this is going to be a delayed execute from CLG after finding, trading picks initially. But you can see what JKS does so well is that it doesn't necessarily take the initial duel that could pop up, because he knows he doesn't have a rotation in time. So what he does is put down utility to actually allow for Nifty to come in and actually cover him up. And they're going to get in a beneficial trade because of this. Well, I mean, Nixa, not Nifty. But yeah, because of that, they're going to end up with a beneficial trade. And really, that's all you want when you're a solo site bomb player. Either delay for as long as possible as that rotations come in time, or, if you can grab more than one kill, that's absolutely amazing.
Anchor the site.
Exactly.
Hold
what
it
you're
down.
doing.
And get 2 kills and you've done your job.
Exactly. And JKS is doing a masterful job of that. So if you look at the scoreboard, yeah, he's not going to, blow anyone away in this game, because well, CLG didn't really go a whole lot towards inner, but that's not his fault. But it's probably partly because he's doing such a good job whenever they go there. They might as well figure out like, it's not even worth trying at this point.
Well, someone that absolutely was trying, and I do think they succeeded. Let's talk about Nexa on this CT side, boasting 116 ADR across the board. This guy was killing it.
Yeah, and talk about coming in hot. It didn't have the greatest of cobble games. Obviously, it's a difficult map to play when you're in a new team. I would have expected something similar, honestly, going into train as well, but he seems to be finding his groove right there. He, again, not necessarily the guy to be first into duels or anything like that for Renegades, but he was always the guy who was the step behind to close things out, to get a trade frag, to get multi-kills, and so on. And I don't know. I think Renegades might have, found a good one in this guy.
Found a good one, and this day and age in Counter-Strike, that is few and far between.
Yeah.
Not even just in terms of skill levels. I mean, there's contracts. It just gets complicated. But nonetheless, we're going to be going to a second doubleheader tonight between,
Energy and Misfits.
It's Energy and Misfits. What do you know? How about that? Anyway, we're going to go to them when we come back from this commercial break. And honestly, splitting maps with CLG,
I mean,
it is what it is.
It is what it is, but they do manage to be a part of that cool 11-win club, right?
Definitely in the club now. We will be right back. We're going to Inferno. Don't go anywhere.